Have you ever felt like someone is consistently opposing you, not because of anything you've done, but simply for the sheer pleasure of bringing you down? There's a tale, an ancient one, about a firefly pursued by a snake. This snake, with relentless determination, wanted to devour the firefly no matter the cost. The firefly, with its small wings, flew desperately, trying to escape the inevitable. As it darted through the night, it found itself cornered, with nowhere else to go. Knowing its fate was sealed, the firefly turned to the snake and asked for a moment to speak. Surprised but curious, the snake agreed. The firefly then posed 3 questions. Am I part of your usual diet? The snake, puzzled, replied, No. The firefly continued, Have I ever wronged you in any way? Again, the snake responded, No. Finally, the firefly, with a calmness that belied its fear, asked, Then why do you seek to harm me? The snake, with a cold, unfeeling gaze, answered, Because I cannot stand to see you shine. This story is a powerful metaphor for the human experience. It doesn't matter what you do in life. It doesn't matter how kind, hardworking, or thoughtful you are. There will always be those who seek to diminish your light, simply because it bothers them. We all encounter such people, whether in our workplaces, among friends, at school, or even within our own families. These individuals seem to derive satisfaction from our discomfort, from undermining our efforts and attempting to dull our shine. But what if I told you there was a way to deal with these challenges without falling into the trap of conflict? What if I told you that by embracing the principles of Stoicism, you could rise above the petty antagonisms of life, maintaining your inner peace and strength? Stoicism is one of the most practical and profound philosophies, offering a guide to focusing your energy on what you can control while learning to accept what you cannot. By adopting this mindset, you can navigate the trials of life with wisdom and grace, avoiding the pitfalls of anger and resentment. First, let me tell you that being stoic does not mean being passive. It does not mean suffering in silence or holding grudges. On the contrary, Stoicism teaches you to have a firm stance, to control your emotions, and to think before you act. This philosophy empowers you to live with dignity and clarity, no matter what life throws your way. And if you're watching this video, it means someone else found value in it, subscribed to our channel, liked it, and left a comment. So, do the same. Help us spread this message of mental clarity and resilience. Now, let's delve into 9 strategies Stoicism offers for overcoming challenges without conflict. These are not just theoretical concepts, but practical tools you can apply in your daily life. The first strategy is deceptively simple. Ignore the provocation. Have you ever noticed how a performance loses its power when the audience stops paying attention? Ignoring someone can be one of the most powerful tools in your arsenal. When faced with someone who declares themselves your enemy, who constantly provokes you, the most effective response might be to simply not engage. This is not a passive act, but one of active self-control. By consciously choosing to ignore the provocations, the mean jokes, the subtle digs, you take away their power over you. Consider this. Some people thrive on causing emotional turmoil. They gain satisfaction from seeing you upset, from knowing they've gotten under your skin. But when you choose to ignore them, you nullify that power. You send a clear message that they hold no sway over your emotions or decisions. You are free to focus on what truly matters: your goals, your personal growth, and your inner peace. By ignoring the provocations, you create a mental and emotional space where you can value every moment of your life. Instead of allowing negative distractions to drain your energy, you use your time and focus on what truly matters. This might sound simple, but it requires immense self-discipline. It's easy to get caught up in the heat of the moment, to let your emotions take over. But remember, the strength of those who try to harm you lies in the importance you give them. You have the power to decide how much space they occupy in your mind. By choosing wisdom over reaction, you protect yourself from the corrosive effects of resentment and anger. This approach doesn't mean you deny or pretend that conflicts don't exist. Rather, it's about not getting trapped in a situation that someone else created. By following this path, you become the architect of your own happiness and the guardian of your inner peace. The second strategy is about using your intellect to outmaneuver those who oppose you. Life presents us with countless challenges, and not all of them can or should be met with direct confrontation. Sometimes, the smartest move is to be more cunning, to outthink rather than outfight your adversaries. This means using your reasoning, your creativity, and your strategic thinking to find solutions that avoid unnecessary conflict. One of the most powerful examples of this is the Indian struggle for independence from British rule. Led by Mahatma Gandhi, the Indian people employed non-violent resistance, a strategy that confounded the British Empire. Gandhi organized peaceful protests, strikes, and boycotts, all designed to weaken British control over India. One of the most famous of these was the Salt March, where Gandhi and thousands of followers walked 240 miles to the Arabian Sea to make their own salt, defying British laws. This simple yet profound act of civil disobedience garnered worldwide attention and significantly weakened British authority in India. Gandhi's success lay in his ability to see the bigger picture. He understood the strengths and weaknesses of his opponent and used this knowledge to his advantage. By choosing non-violence, he turned the Indian people's apparent weakness into a strength, using intelligence and strategy to achieve what seemed impossible. In the same way, you can use your intellect to navigate conflicts in your life. Winning with intelligence is not just about skill. It's about understanding what motivates people, predicting their actions, and thinking several steps ahead. When you use your head instead of your fists, you demonstrate true leadership. You show that you are in control, not just of the situation, but of yourself. This is the essence of Stoic wisdom, using reason and foresight to overcome obstacles without resorting to conflict. The third strategy is one of the most transformative: turning your opponents into teachers. Stoicism teaches us to transform adversity into a path for growth. Instead of viewing your enemies with hostility, see them as opportunities to learn, to grow, to become better. These people, challenging as they may be, test your limits, expose your weaknesses, and show you where you need to improve. The Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic philosophers, once said, "The best revenge is to be unlike the one who wronged you." This profound insight reminds us that the true measure of character is not in how we are treated, but in how we respond. When someone wrongs you, it's easy to react with anger, to mirror their behavior. But Stoicism challenges us to rise above, to use these moments as opportunities to cultivate patience, tolerance, and above all, calm. Consider this: when someone insults you and you respond in kind, you become like them. If someone disrespects you and you react with disrespect, you lower yourself to their level. But by maintaining your composure, you transform the situation. The obstacle becomes the path, as Marcus Aurelius would say. Moreover, Marcus Aurelius advises us to reflect on our own faults before criticizing others. Ask yourself, what flaw do I have that most resembles the one I'm about to criticize? This self-reflection fosters humility and empathy, helping you to see others not just as adversaries, but as mirrors reflecting aspects of yourself that may need attention. By viewing your enemies as teachers, you can transform negative encounters into valuable lessons. You can learn more about yourself, about your weaknesses, and about the areas in your life that need growth. This approach not only helps you grow as a person, but also changes the dynamic with your enemies. They may still dislike you, but you've stopped caring about that. You've stopped giving them power over you. The fourth strategy is perhaps the most challenging, but also the most liberating: recognizing that your enemy is not the true cause of your suffering. This idea, central to Stoic philosophy, teaches that the real reason for our suffering lies not in the actions of others, but in our own judgments and reactions. Think about it. When someone says or does something that hurts you, it's not their actions that cause your pain, it's your interpretation of those actions. It's the meaning you assign to them, the way you let them affect you. In truth, your enemy is simply a mirror, reflecting your own insecurities, your own emotional attachments. Epictetus, another great Stoic philosopher who was once a slave, taught that it's not the events themselves that disturb us, but our judgments about them. This teaching challenges the common belief that external events control our emotions. Instead, Epictetus argues that it's our perceptions and interpretations that shape our emotional responses. Even when something bad happens, what really matters is how we choose to face it. This perspective shift empowers us to take responsibility for our own emotional state, rather than blaming others. When you recognize that it's not the person or the situation that's causing you pain, but rather your reaction to it, you open the door to emotional freedom. You gain the ability to respond with strength and clarity, rather than being tossed about by every negative encounter. This isn't about pretending that conflicts don't exist, but about seeing them in a new light. Consider your enemy as a teacher, reflecting back to you the areas in your life that need attention. Ask yourself why you are so affected by their words or actions. What expectations or attachments are being threatened? By understanding your own reactions, You gain deeper insight into yourself and your own vulnerabilities. This wisdom brings a profound sense of peace and joy, as you realize that your emotional state is within your control. You are no longer at the mercy of others' actions or words. Instead, you become the master of your own emotional destiny. The fifth strategy is about embracing the power of forgiveness. Forgiving someone who has wronged you is not an act of weakness, but of immense strength and nobility. It's about choosing to release the anger, hurt, and resentment that weigh you down, allowing you to find peace within yourself. Forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting what happened or excusing the behavior. It doesn't mean inviting the person back into your life or pretending that nothing is wrong. Rather, it means letting go of the negative emotions that tie you to the past. It's about freeing yourself from the toxic cycle of resentment and anger. As Epictetus wisely noted, forgiveness is superior to revenge because it demonstrates kindness, while revenge reflects a savage nature. This insight highlights the transformative power of forgiveness. By choosing to forgive, you show that you are in control of your emotions, that you are not defined by the actions of others. You elevate your consciousness, accepting the reality of what happened without letting it dominate your life. Forgiveness breaks the cycle of negativity, restoring balance to your emotional and mental life. When you forgive, you free yourself from the chains of the past, reclaiming your power over your own happiness. It's an act of true greatness, one that requires courage, strength, and a deep understanding of the human condition. The sixth strategy is about transforming your relationship with your enemies. This means acting with kindness, understanding, and compassion, even towards those who seek to harm you. It's about choosing to rise above the negativity and bring about positive change, both in your own life and in the lives of others. There's a story that perfectly illustrates this point. A very wealthy man, with a heart full of malice, decided to give a gift to a poor man on his birthday. He ordered a tray filled with trash and filth, intending to humiliate the poor man in front of others. When the poor man received the gift, he smiled, thanked the wealthy man, and asked him to wait a moment. The poor man then emptied the tray, cleaned it thoroughly, and filled it with beautiful flowers. He returned the tray to the wealthy man with a note that read, "We give the best we have." This story is a powerful reminder that we cannot control what others give us, but we can choose how we respond. The poor man in the story chose to respond with kindness and love, turning an act of cruelty into an opportunity for beauty. By choosing to respond to negativity with positivity, you not only protect your own peace of mind, but also set an example for others. You show that you are not defined by the actions of others, but by your own character. This is the true power of Stoicism, the ability to transform even the most difficult situations into opportunities for growth and virtue. The seventh strategy is about facing your problems directly. Avoiding conflict is not always the best strategy. Sometimes, the most effective way to resolve an issue is to confront it head-on. This doesn't mean engaging in physical or verbal fights, but rather having the courage to address the issue directly and with clarity. As Dr. Matt Murdock once said, the unconfronted enemy tends to grow stronger. Confronting someone means having a direct and objective conversation. It's about saying, "I noticed that you've been doing this, and I don't think it's right. I didn't do anything to you, and I want you to stop." This is not about aggression, but about standing your ground and showing that you are aware of the situation and will not tolerate certain behaviors. Of course, each situation is unique. If it's your boss, for example, the approach might need to be more nuanced. But the principle remains the same: don't let problems fester. By confronting the issue directly, you prevent it from escalating into something bigger. You show that you are not afraid to stand up for yourself, but you do so with dignity and respect. Confronting an issue doesn't mean picking a fight. It means asserting yourself when necessary, showing that you will not be walked over. This approach often leads to a resolution without the need for conflict, as the other person understands that their behavior will not go unnoticed. The eighth strategy is about shifting your focus back to yourself. It's easy to get caught up in thoughts of revenge or dwelling on the wrongs done to you. But every moment you spend focused on these negative thoughts is a moment lost to you. Think about it. Every minute you waste thinking about how someone hurt you is a minute less spent on your own growth and happiness. Sometimes, we hold on to these thoughts because we secretly hope the person who wronged us will realize their mistake and seek our forgiveness. But this only keeps us tied to them, waiting for validation that may never come. True freedom comes from within. It comes from recognizing that your value and worth are not determined by others, but by yourself. By focusing on your own growth, your own goals, and your own happiness, you reclaim your power. You stop waiting for others to give you the recognition you deserve and start giving it to yourself. The Stoics remind us that we have the power to choose how we react to any situation. This power allows us to make decisions that align with our values and lead us towards wisdom, virtue, and happiness. By focusing on yourself, you embark on a journey of self-discovery, leaving behind the ignorance and resentment that hold you back. The ninth and final strategy is perhaps the most empowering of all. Recognizing that you are the one who controls your emotions. No one can make you feel anything unless you allow them to. Your peace, your happiness, your emotional well-being are all within your control. It's challenging to live with someone who seems determined to bring you down, but remember, these people are like the snake in the story. They can't stand to see your light. But what defines you is not how many enemies you have, but how you choose to respond to them. It's not about what others think of you, but what you think of yourself. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, offers this profound advice: choose not to be harmed, and you won't feel harmed. Don't feel undermined, and you won't be. These words remind us that we have the power to decide how we react to the challenges and provocations of life. You are the master of your emotions. No one can diminish your joy, take away your peace, or ruin your day unless you give them that power. By taking control of your emotions, you unlock the potential for personal growth, for a life free from the chains of resentment and anger. And if you've made it this far, I want you to comment, gratitude. This simple act shows your commitment to change, to embracing the teachings of Stoicism and applying them in your life. Now, if you want to learn more about the power of calm as taught by Marcus Aurelius and Epictetus, I invite you to watch the video on your left. Thank you for being here, and remember, the control is always yours.